Coffee cuts back, stepping in, she scores! It's a hat trick! The first for Sam Coffey in her 2-year Eagle career. Iose for a 2-goal cushion. He's got it! 3-1 Cosmos! Gallagher and Dumas both standing over the ball. Gallagher strikes, save Chavez Borelli! Pumps his fist after diving to the post. EC countering. Lockhead as Leipzig making a run. Finds her. Leipzig down. Recovers. Cuts it back and scores! Could be the dagger for BC. Carly Leipzig's second goal this year. Well, John Gallagher scored from this exact spot in the 49th minute. For the hat trick, Gallagher, he's got it! With Flores on his tail, give and go, Don Smart lets it go, hits the bar! Smart again, and he fanned on it. Louisville hadn't had a huge issue with fouls this year. They were only averaging about 8 a game. Lehman on the volley, oh, that was dipping, and ended up just high.
Konradson making a move forward, goes wide to Enstrom. In the 89th minute, Simon Enstrom takes a shot, he scores! BC's bell cow delivers a likely winner.
The final night of the regular season and at Parsons Field in Brookline, it couldn't be bigger. Playoff positioning and playoff eligibility on the line tonight as UNCW takes on Northeastern. Hi, everybody. So glad to be with you for this one. You can't draw it up better at the end of the year alongside Alex Vespoli. I'm Bill Spaulding. Well, this game was rescheduled from September, and it ends up becoming just an absolutely massive game. Northeastern makes the CAA tournament for the first time under Coach Chris Bondi with a draw or a win today against UNCW, but that's easier said than done. UNCW with a draw or a win is the CAA champion. From the Newton campus, soccer and lacrosse stadium just off the Chestnut Hill campus, Boston College looks to continue its red-hot start in a non-conference matchup against the Temple Owls. Hi, everybody. So glad to be with you alongside Eric Galanti. I'm Bill Spaulding. BC may not yet be ranked in the top 25, but statistically, they're off to one of the best starts in the entire country. Eric, it all starts with this remarkable defense. Up over the top, first touch is successful for Tyler Stott. D wins the second ball, drops it back for Kate Schmidt. Curling cross measured perfectly, and here's the opening touch for Amo. Sophomore from Lothian, Maryland. Amo plays it back to Portman. Ship in, Schmidt. Beavis got a piece for BC. Kellett clears it as far as about a third of the way up. Here's Schmidt again. So we see him work with his feet. You can assume Tate Schmidt's got to have some crazy coordination. His dad, the national racquetball champion when he was in his heyday. How's your racquetball game?
It's hurting a little bit.
Wilson in the midfield spins it out wide, and he overshoots his intended target, Thackeray. I mentioned Louisville had a very weird week last week, the 3-0 loss to rival Kentucky, the 3-0 win over Duke. I'm going to wager nobody felt that more than Wilson. Had the amazing goal against Duke to start things. You got to feel great about that. But he comes from a family of Kentucky Wildcats. His brother, his dad, both played at Kentucky, and he was on the wrong side of that rivalry last week.
And we know no matter what sport it is, Louisville, Kentucky certainly stands out as rivalries go at the collegiate level.
Lehman forward, Johnson cuts it back, has space, and couldn't turn it over. Blasts it wide for the goal kick.
You know, it's interesting, that Kentucky game, and one of the things that was pointed out by Coach Lola to some of the folks who do the Louisville broadcast is that they changed formation early in that game against Kentucky, trying to gain a little bit of an advantage. And the reality was it simply didn't work. And in the second half, they tried to simplify a little bit. Now, they did still allow a goal, but they felt like they played a lot better, a lot more than themselves, and then obviously came out and dominated against Duke pretty much the whole game, even though the first half was scoreless. So what becomes so interesting is, was it just kind of a complete fluke that one half, or does it stand out as something that Louisville needs to work on for a team that obviously is still ranked in the top 10 in the country?
Because again, that game outscored 3-0. 3 other games this season for Louisville, they've outscored their opponents by a combined 6-1. And that's the tough thing about playing a rival so early in the year. Obviously, you want to win your rivalry games, but your early non-conference games are also about finding out what is the best formation or what are the best combinations for your team.
And Kentucky, which it has some pretty good players, and they have a couple of emerging stars. Kentucky is not Kentucky basketball. In soccer, certainly. Louisville, the dominant Kentucky state power.
Second substitution coming for the Cardinals on this throw-in. Isaiah Jennings, sophomore from nearby Barrington, Rhode Island, makes his way in. This will be his closest trip to home, and he's got a good group of fans in the middle of the section across the way that all stood up to applaud Isaiah Jennings when he entered the pitch.
You know, maybe we should say they're not Kentucky football either after a couple of wins by Kentucky in the first 2 weeks of the season.
Boston College have to cede back defensively after another throw-in for Louisville. We're in the 37th minute, 0-0. Louisville, the game's first 4 shots. Boston College has put together the last 4 shots. The best chance came for the Eagles. Christopher Conradson on a free kick at the bottom of the crossbar, but the ball stayed out. It's Conradson on it again. Freshman from Gardabair, Iceland. He goes hard into Fekri, and it's a foul on Conradson.
Once again, you see the aggressiveness of the freshman Conradson as he continues to show himself.
Oh, there's a big safety play from Gelnovac. It was a sloppy pass from Portman on the outside behind Conti, and Enstrom almost ran onto the end of it. Only 1 or 2 touches so far today for Simon Enstrom, the ACC's leader in goals and in shots so far this season. Game plan for Louisville has clearly been to keep it away from him, and for the most part, that job has fallen to Cody Cochran, who's done admirably.
And part of that certainly is Louisville's possession time, but also just the way that they've played defense around Enstrom. And that's why you see Johnson and you see Conradson with some more touches today.
38th minute substitutions for Ken Lola and Ed Kelly. Louisville brings in Pedro Fonseca, and Boston College sends in Jesus Salagoon. And Lola in his 13th year at Louisville after a tremendous run at Akron. He took a program at Akron that really hadn't done anything, made them one of the preeminent powers in college soccer, and left a legacy there that has allowed Akron to continue to be one of the preeminent powers in college soccer.
Into the 14th minute, scoreless, but the best 2 chances belong to the Eagles. Clad in white, Clemson on the road in orange, the 2015 national runners-up. A really interesting year in the ACC. Of course, defending champion Wake Forest is the favorite, but like you mentioned, 8 teams are ranked. Smith runs onto the end of this one. Heavy touch, and he's pushed off the ball by Longo. Well defended by the first-year Eagle, who was an all-conference player at Florida International. From a long way out, Bjornsson tried to make the diagonal pass. It squirts through toward Nunez. Quinn McNeil's pass forward, too far out in front of his intended target, Grayson Barber. That allows Chavez Borelli to vacuum it up.
Pretty good job all around by Boston College defensively, just getting in the way. Watch Stott here. He goes down without making a slide tackle, but in terms of a penalty, but at least getting enough to take the ball far enough away from the positive rush to avoid a clean shot.
Here's Joe Kellett right back onto the pitch for Boston College. Great ball forward to Enstrom. He's angled wide. Enstrom's cross in, deflected back out for a Boston College throw. Josh Forbes will move up from his fullback position to take the throw in. And Joe Kellett mentioned he's a UMass Lowell transfer. Played in 18 games last year, led UMass Lowell in minutes played. Every one of the transfers picked up by Ed Kelly in this offseason has come in and made immediate impacts.
And they have to because of the losses. They're key losses this year for Boston College to graduation and to transfer.
Long throw, headed down, bounces to Johnson, and the volley goes high. Ooh, he struck that very well on the off-footed volley.
Yeah, BC really has not had that many set pieces to start this season. Corner kicks only 7. So to get those kind of chances on a throw-in on a corner, whatever the case may be, it's really important for the Eagles offense.
That's 7 corner kicks in only 3 games, which you'd expect something like 10 to 15 corners at that point. A 2-1 win for Boston College over Quinnipiac, both goals from Simon Enstrom. Then a pretty wild 3-3 tie against Boston University, and the draw 1-1 last week against Providence. Chavez Borelli first to it once again.
And this is where the stat about, we keep citing 21-5. It can be a little bit misleading because obviously right now BC's had a couple of chances, but they only have one shot officially on the board. But to be able to keep getting chances, now the next step is to get those shots directed on goal.
Both teams fairly organized so far. This is Malik Mbai with possession. Mbai trying to be the intimidator today. He walked onto the pitch with an orange sledgehammer coming out at about 6'10" for warm-ups. And now that's something you see with a lot of football teams. They give it to their hard hitter on defense. So Mbai making that statement as the center back for the Clemson soccer team.
Looks like something they found running down the hill in Death Valley.
Enstrom into the 18. Low cross for Johnson, and he mishit it. Patrick Bunk Anderson cuts it out. 17th minute, 0-0. Clemson and Boston College. First game of the ACC season. ACC games all across the board tonight. Other games in the Atlantic like Syracuse and Notre Dame just underway as well. Good move around the wing. And a pass to the interior from Dieterich is cut out for a corner. First corner kick for Clemson today. Tanner Dietrich Jr. from Nashville, Tennessee. Dad played college soccer at Stetson. He's been a 3-year contributor and already a captain as a junior for the Clemson team. Winning this corner, the sophomore Bjornsson over to take it.
Well, we mentioned the corners. BC only 7. Clemson has 19 in 4 games. A little bit of a better percentage in terms of just achieving the corner chances.
Watch for the center back, Bunk Anderson, tallest player on the pitch for Clemson. He's the target. His header, way too high. Comes on down. Mbai couldn't connect. Tigers still on the ball. Adrian Nunez, transfer from North Florida, where he was the Atlantic Sun Player of the Year. Cross in. Chavez Borelli pins that one at the apex.
And he jumps into 3 orange jerseys as he does it. Going back to the corner, that second touch just a little bit wide. Clemson tried to save it and did end up getting at least a half chance from a distant shot, but a pretty good job overall by the Eagles defensively.
These are 2 super athletic keepers. Neither of them as tall as what you expect to see at this level. Chavez Borelli 6 feet even. Sutherland only 5'10", but both can get up and cover a ton of ground. Clemson's won or drawn 11 straight against Boston College. Overall 9 wins, 3 losses, 5 draws for the Tigers in the previous 17 meetings. BC's only 3 wins have all come here at the Newton Campus Soccer Stadium, with the last coming back in 2009. In October of 2009, it was a 2-0 Boston College win. Again, last year, a 1-0 win for Clemson down in South Carolina.
A little bit of a sloppy game so far. That was the Eagles' 4th foul against Providence.
Johnson a steal. This sets up a good transition look on the counter. Through ball, Enstrom, back for Johnson, tap and score! Eagles strike first to open the ACC register.
Well, you'll see both the unselfishness and the chemistry that these two up front play with. There's a pretty clear lane for a shot off of the second touch, but it's the extra pass that creates the goal and gives the Eagles the lead at 1-0.
Boy, midfield turnovers can lead to huge counters, and that's exactly what happened here.
Watch Enstrom. There's a lane there to take the shot, but he gives it off. He forces Sutherland off of his spot. Clean for Johnson to allow the cleaner shot. That's a great job for Enstrom getting the assist. It's not just his scoring, it's his ability to pass as well, and that is huge for the Eagles, who have controlled the offensive possession so far to get out, and now they can play from out front.
Yeah, it's a fair result after the first 20 minutes with BC on the front foot. All 3 A-plus scoring chances have gone the Eagles' way.